Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Wahyuni and I am from English Education Class A 2019. Now I will present my mini proposal project with the title The Application of Shadowing Techniques with Audio Visual Media in Improving Students' English Speaking Skill. The table of the contents in this PPT, there are introduction, literature review, and methodology. The first one, introduction. The background. In today's era of globalization, English, which is an international standard language, is an important thing to learn. Because nowadays, people all over the world are increasingly connected and integrated with each other. To learn English, there are four skills that must be known, namely listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Speaking is one of the skills in English that must be mastered. This is similar to Hamada et al. In 2017. Association that speaking skills are very important to be developed and improved as a means of supporting good and effective communication. Learn English, it is necessary to use the right materials, medias, methods, and techniques to facilitate students to learn and master the ability to speak English. Meanwhile, the problems that students often experience in learning to speak include difficulties in pronouncing words fluently, errors in using grammar, and lack of vocabulary mastery. From the definition and problems experienced by students, it can be concluded that students will find it difficult to speak English fluently. Therefore, it takes appropriate learning techniques that can be students' interest in developing speaking skills in English. In this case, the researcher chose to use the shadowing technique as an effort to improve students' speaking skill. The author is interested in examining the ability of students to speak English using shadowing techniques with the support of audio-visual learning media. This is because one of the objectives of the foreign language itself is to improve communication skills as an output of learning outcomes. In addition, the low ability of students in speaking skill, especially in rural areas, such as in the place that will be studied by researchers, namely senior high school number 10 Maros, it can be seen from when a teacher invites students there to ask questions or convey ideas or opinions in English. Students will point at each other. The low ability of students in speaking English is because they are not accustomed to listening and speaking in English. This happens because the teacher prioritizes reading comprehension. Learning time in class is also more limited. Based on the description, the teacher wants to conduct a study entitled The Application of Shadowing Techniques with Audiovisual Media in Improving Students' English Speaking Skill. So next, problem statement. Based on the background described above, in this case, what needs to be considered from this research is the low speaking ability of students at senior high school number 10. Therefore, the researchers try to find out whether using the shadowing technique with the help of audio-visual media can improve a student's speaking skill. The problem that researchers want to know is, do the shadowing techniques improve students' speaking skill? Now, the objectives. The objective of the study based on the problem above are, first, to find out whether shadowing techniques with audio-visual improves the English speaking skill of students at senior high school number 10 Maros. And the last one is to find out whether the shadowing techniques with audio-visual motivates students to learn English speaking skill at senior high school number 10 Maros. Next, significance. The significance of research was useful as below. First, this research is expected to provide an overview to teachers about how to improve students' skills. Second, this research is expected to provide an overview to teachers how to make students more confident in speaking English inside and outside the classroom. And the last, this research is expected to motivate students to be interested in developing speaking skill in English independently at home with the shadowing technique using audio visual. The scope of the research focus on content and activity. Based on the content itself, where the use of shadowing technique using audio-visual can improve students' skill to speak English by paying attention to accuracy and fluently in pronunciation and get accents from the speakers they hear using narrative stories. The research activity was conducted at senior high school number 10 Maros by investigating shadowing techniques using audio-visual media during the teaching and learning process. Okay, we move in literature review. In literature review, there is pertinent ideas. First, I would like to explain about shadowing techniques. In these shadowing techniques, there is definitions, types, steps, and effectiveness. The first one I would like to explain is definition. In language learning, the teacher must be able to find new teaching techniques in accordance with the times and be creative in order to increase students' motivation in learning. One of the techniques the teacher can develop in language teaching is shadowing technique. The meaning of shadowing techniques has also been put forward by several people of various definitions. According to Hamada, shadowing is a technique with the help of headphones in which a person listens and repeats the voice of speaker being heard, such as in parrots who often mimic someone's word. Next, from Tamai, in said that shadowing is where someone pronounces a phrase correctly after listening to a chunk of meaningful English without seeing the text at all. Next one, I would like to explain about types of shadowing technique. There are three types of shadowing. First one, full shadowing technique. Full shadowing technique is where a student says everything they hear from a native speaker. Two, slash shadowing techniques. Slash shadowing technique is the same as full shadowing. At the slash shadowings, students say everything they hear from the speaker but uses pause. And the last, keywords shadowing techniques, where students only say the most important words. The students listen first, then select which words are most important according to them. Next, I will explain about shadowing technique step. The steps for applying shadowing techniques include: first, listen to an MP3 and MP4 related to the topic. Second, understanding intonation, vocabulary, and pronunciation from the audio heard. Third, try to imitate or shadow what is said from the audio. And the last, repeat these steps until we can follow the speaker's word correctly at almost the same time. The last, I would like to explain about effectiveness of shadowing technique. The effectiveness of shadowing techniques has been provided by several researchers, such as in research Yohamada, a professor at Akita University in Japan, who has applied shadowing techniques to English students and got the result that shadowing can improve students' ability to listen to their learning. Another research comes from Yafari and Safis, who stated that the result of this study indicated that shadowing and tracking are suitable for regular EFL classrooms, where the emphasis is on speaking fluently development. Further research from his et al. Who conclude that shadowing techniques can help students in Taiwan get used to English sentence. Besides, they also begin to be fluent in pronunciation and intonation in speaking English. The next one, I will explain about speaking. In this speaking, I will explain about definition, components, and accents. The first one is the definition of speaking. Speaking has various definitions from various experts. According to Thornbury, who states that speaking is a skill, where the skill needs to be developed and practiced independently in accordance with applicable grammar rules. Meanwhile, Copeland states that speaking is an iron capital in language. Canfield stated that speaking is behavior that is international and governed by the rules. Intentional and governed by the rules. And Corbett and Carter state that speaking is a combination of sounds in a recognizable and systematic way, according to the principle of certain language to form a speaking meaning. Next, I will explain about component of speaking. In language, to master English language skill, there are several components that we master, such as, according to Harris, there are 5 components of speaking skill that must be concerned with pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary comprehension, and fluently. First is pronunciation. Pronunciation is one of the most important things. It is used to It is used so that the message which the speakers want to convey can be received well by the listener and in order to avoid misunderstanding. Second, grammar. In a conversation, it is necessary to set the correct sentence. In this case, grammar plays as an important role. The next is comprehension. Comprehension is the ability to understand and process sentence that will be conveyed to the listener. The last is fluency. The fluency is the ability to speak fluently and accurately. A person who can speak fluently can more easily communicate well. And the last is accent. The accent in speech is an identified pronunciation style, namely the combination of three main components: intonation, music, liaisons, and pronunciation. Next is audiovisual. This audiovisual, I will explain about definition and the advantage. The definition of audiovisual media is a media with the use of combination of sound components and image components. This audiovisual media has two types. There are what are called pure audiovisual, where this media can display sound elements and moving images in one source, such as video, films, and television. While impure audiovisual is a media where the sound and image components come from. Next, I will explain about the advantage of audiovisual media. The use of audiovisual uh, in learning allows students to understanding of a topic to be conveyed in various ways, and this can also provide opportunities for students to explain their ideas to others. This audiovisual media can provide students with insights to organize and evaluate information. In learning English, the role of audiovisual is a very important to improve students' skill to remember the information spoken by speaker while performing shadowing techniques. The next one is previous related findings. Actually, I have five uh, previous related findings from researchers, but in this section, I just two researchers. It is from Yohamada and Fresten Yeferi Sajat. Safies. The first is Yohamada. Research conducted by Yohamada in 2015 with the title Shadowing Who Benefits and How Uncovering a Booming EFL Teaching Techniques for Listening Comprehension concludes that shadowing is effective in enhancing phenomena perception. In this study, data collection techniques were done using qualitative methods, were using two experimental groups and two control groups to obtain the desired data. And the last is Ferreste Jafari and Sajad Safis. In a study conducted by them with the title Effectives of Shadowing and Tracking on Intermediate EFL Learning's Oral Fluency, it was found that in their research that combined shadowing with tracking, the participants speaking fluency increased. where in this study, the data collection techniques used as a pretest and posttest were semi-structured interviews in which students answered some of the questions asked. Next, we move in conceptual framework. In conceptual framework, the first one, the researchers give a pretest in 11 class students, and after got the result, the researchers do treatment. This treatment divided into two is our experimental class and control class. In experimental and control class, after doing treatment, they are giving post-test by researchers. Next is methodology. The first next is research design. The research will conduct a quantitative research with quasi-experimental design in the study. Quasi-experimental study is especially developed to study the effect of shadowing technique using audiovisual, where this method aims to test the effect of variable on other variables or test how the causal relation between one variable and another variable. This study is related to the source because to find out whether there is an increase in students' speaking skill or not. Observation compared test result. Pretest and post-test designs were used in this study because the study tends to determine the improvement in speaking ability by comparing the result between pretest and post-test. Next one is data research. This research took place at Senior High School number 10 Maros, which is located in Maros Regency, Simbang District, Simbang Village. At Senior High School number 10 Maros, there are only two majors, namely Science and Social Studies. Each department, or in Indonesia, we say IPA dan IPS. Each department consists of two classes for each class. Or it can be said that the science department consists of 6 classes and social studies consists of 6 classes. There is only one English teacher in this school and more than 300 students. As for the population taken in this study were students of class 12, Senior High School number 10, Maros. There are only two class 12 at Senior High School number 10, Maros. Each class consists of 30 students, so the total population is 60 students. The author uses a random method to choose the class that will be sampled in the study. 10 students of class 12A and the 10 students of class 12B were selected as sample and became the experimental classes. The experimental class consisted of 10 students in class 12A and the control class consists of 10 students in class B, 12 class B. Next is instrument of data research. Instrument of the research. The research instrument in this research use a speaking test. In this research, the research first gave a pretest before the rest received treatment and post-test. In a treatment, students are given the audio-visual to be listened to. Next is techniques of data collection. In this, there are pre-test, treatment, and post-test. In the pre-test, the pre-test is a test that is given at the beginning before doing treatment. The purpose of the pre-test is to discover the initial level of student speaking skills, which is done by giving three familiar topics. Then students can choose which topic they want to discuss. They have 3 until 5 minutes to speak. For D is treatment. Researchers teach speaking using audiovisual media, shadowing technique. Students will watch while listening to speakers discuss a topic using an American accent. Students will practice listening to it by trying to shadow each word spoken and shadow the speaker accent. This treatment is conducted for 4 meetings where each meeting lasts for 19 minutes. Post-test, each student gets a choice of topics that have been provided and they are free to choose the topic they want. Each student has 3 until 5 minutes to share the topic they have chosen. The speaking test will be recorded. After that, the research will give a score to the student's performance by assessing the accuracy, fluency, and completing perspective. Technique of data analysis. The study will analyze the student's speaking skill and of see the accent students use when speaking. In speaking, the assessment text is done by looking at the accuracy, fluency, and compatibility and see the similarity of accents used by students when accent from shadowing native speaker. So I think that's all from me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.